Okay, so I like this episode, but the adjective I'm going to use to describe it is disjointed because there was two storylines going on in Hyperion Heights, and I really only wanted to pay attention to one of them, and the one I didn't want to pay attention to was Sabine, which is a problem because the way the original 6 seasons went is when you had flashbacks, it generally, you know, correlated to what's going on in the present. And because there was the much more interesting what's going on with Victoria and what's going on with Ivy's storyline, it really took away from the Sabine and Jacinda storyline. So I have a good chunk of notes here to discuss the episode, but overall it's disjointed to the max. So the opening scene with the witch, it still felt forced, at least when I first saw it. But then at the end of the episode, I did like what's going on here because Ivy is awake. So I kind of understand what's going on with the witch, but they won't name her. And they need to do that. Like, that's kind of a bother when you introduce a character and then you make us wait for the name and then she's been on screen twice in a row. I mean, come on. Like, I get there's supposed to be a mystery, but let's not be that sloppy. I did enjoy how Regina, or Ronnie, excuse me, was acting as Henry's mother, which obviously she is. And, at the end of the episode, she finds the photo of Henry and herself. And I do appreciate, what's going to be happening in Awake. And I'll discuss, my thoughts on that trailer in a little bit. So I did enjoy Lana Paria's interactions with both Andrew J. West and Adelaide Kane. And also, Adelaide Kane really got to rock this episode. I really hope that we get a flashback with Drusilla really, really soon, because as I said, she's awake. Is she the one who cast the curse and it's not her mother? I did enjoy Dr. Facilier. I thought he was very charismatic. I said in the sneak peek I had a couple problems, with kind of his delivery, but he's alive. So I am wondering if Ivy and Facilier, or Drusilla and Facilier, will team up later on and he's going to help her cast the curse. I mean, there's too much you can do with Dr. Facilier, especially because he has friends on the other side. It would make no sense if they just cast his character aside. So throughout the episode, I really thought that Ivy was good. And then, at the end, it turns out she's not so good. She's a lot more evil than we expected. And I'm really curious what you guys have to say about that. I was hoping that Drusilla would no longer be the evil stepsister, but I remember reading interviews from the creators saying that Ivy is going to be worse than her mother. I was kind of hoping that was a misdirect. Apparently it's not. I only like having one villain at a time, or maybe two, but now we have at least three, so it's a lot. And possibly four if you include Dr. Facilier. Okay, let's talk about Tiana's backstory. Okay, I think Makia Cox loves being Tiana. I enjoy her as Tiana. And maybe because Naveen was just announced that he's going to be in an episode really soon, they were just trying to, I guess, lay the foundation of Tiana's character. But I hated the fact that she wanted a boyfriend. I thought Kevin Ryan, who played Marius, was horrendous. I didn't like his acting at all. I get the fact that they're in debt, and I liked how it was manipulated to kind of be like more so the princess and the frog, or excuse me, the frog prince. But I felt that, Tiana's main personality traits, they felt they had to build it up as opposed to just give it to us. In Princess and the Frog, we were just exposed to Tiana, and I would be okay with just being exposed. Like, there was absolutely no reason for her to be like a lovesick puppy dog and then have to meet Marius, and then he's a frog. I was like, what the heck? Honestly, at one point when he said, oh, that's not really the case, and, she's holding the frog, and he turns into one, I thought it was going to be a guy. That would have been fine. A lot of people have said Once Upon a Time has done no gay characters. I mean, they've done lesbians, but no men. So I thought that they were going to do something like that, and they did not. I did enjoy the fight between Facilier and Tiana. It very much reminded me of the movie, which was cool. I also liked how he had the ruby, which is also very similar to the pendant that he needed in the movie as well. So I liked those things. I essentially, Tiana and Facilier together were really good, but Tiana's backstory overall, I think, was kind of irrelevant, and I probably will never talk about it again. And then, in Storybrooke, in Hyperion Heights, with Sabine and Jacinda starting a restaurant, I thought that was cool because that is what is very prevalent from the movie. It was one of the main storylines. Tiana needed money from Lottie. Actually, I do wonder if they'll ever do a Lottie character. Tiana starting a business in the movie was very much a prevalent storyline, so I do like that she was doing it with Jacinda. But I didn't like the fact that Jacinda was like, no, Sabine, go away, blah, 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 we don't need you. I thought that was a little unnecessary, because at the end of the episode, they got back together. They were no longer fighting. They were still friends. So that was, it kind of felt unneeded to have that argument. So that's my thoughts on the episode. I really liked Tiana and Facilier together, but I really didn't care about the overall breadth of her backstory. I did like Ivy and Ronnie together. I really think Adelaide Kane and Lana Parrilla work really well. I also did enjoy several of the puns in the episode with Gabrielle Amoir. Like, for example, when Victoria was on Instagram or an Instagram-like app, I thought that was hilarious. I also liked how she called a guy named Ralph and told him to wreck it. They also highlighted Eloise Gardner, who is probably Hook's daughter, and I'm guessing that's going to be Rapunzel. I think Alice possibly being his daughter in the last episode was a misdirect, and I'm guessing Eloise Gardner is going to be Rapunzel, as I said. And that tattoo on the convict's hand, I'm curious how that's going to come into play. I want to see more of the witch. I want the witch to be named. Overall, I would just give this episode probably a C plus B minus if I had to grade it. It just, there was too much going on, and it felt a little discombobulated. But the acting was fine. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Dana Ramirez, and she wasn't prevalent at all. And that's actually one thing I want to quickly talk about. The cast, I mentioned this, is an ensemble cast. And when you have such an ensemble cast, you can only highlight so many people. And I really felt that you don't need Jacinda and you don't need Lucy. I think Ivy and Victoria, Ronnie, Hook, and Henry would be more than enough to make the story work well. I mean, Weaver wasn't even in the episode. And Rumple's one of the best actors on the show. Or Robert Carlyle is one of the best actors on the show. Yet he's not here, and he was totally forgotten about. But those are my thoughts on the episode. It's essentially a C plus B minus. It was discombobulated, but it was still enjoyable. It was much better than The Garden of Working Paths. I'm looking forward to Awake. I'll cover that in a trailer review really soon. I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say about it. And thank you for watching my review, and we'll talk real soon. All right, guys. Bye.